Buenos dias, and welcome to another serving of the weekends here. Brackets almost, but we've taken a handbrake turn down Nostalgia Avenue because we are is it 10 days, Graham, from the Clásico? And it's 15 years since one of the greatest Clásicos in the history of Real Madrid against Barcelona, Barcelona against Real Madrid. It's the 5-0 drubbing on a Monday night, a wet Monday night. Jose Mourinho's first time in charge of Madrid against Barca. So we are going to do some of the usual things. There will be a team of the week right at the end, Graham's team of the week. It will be a team from that era. He's picked the best 11 from the Pep Jose era. But before all that, and before the 10 questions for the 10 games that we've got coming up this weekend, we're just going to talk about that incredible night 15 years ago, Graham. Marigold.
The key thing, Pete, here is good morning to James, good morning to Dougal, who have joined us live at this time on Thursday. Well done, fellas. This is prioritising. Look, Revista de la Liga is a joy to do with Pete because he's one of the most talented football reporters, analysts, writers I've ever met, and therefore this is fun. There's no getting around that. And talking to you guys, and I don't just mean James and Dougal, is something that we do as a passion project because of our love for Spanish football. But the truth is that this section, this nearly the weekend, although handbrake turn nearly the weekend, is for socials, the people, the men and women who've decided to support us and help keep us on the road. It's not the approved wording by the Backpage Press producers, but it's a measly sum. If you can afford £3.99, which is probably a moderate quality, morning Paul, a moderate quality coffee per month, or if you want to go absolutely Donald McDuck multimillionaire mad and invest 30 quid, that'll take you through to the end of the World Cup final in New Jersey, where Spain will have defeated Argentina. That 30 quid investment will give you loads of fun, birthday good wishes, the occasional cold pressed cider that we send out to our socios, and join us, support us, get part of it, because the rest of this content today is for socios only.
Good. Graham, before we get into the 5-0, which was, what date was it? November the 29th, 2010. We're going to rebobbinar. We're going to rewind a little bit first. 3 dates I'm going to give you. Where were you on the 24th of April, 2010? Clue, it was a Champions League semi-final second leg night.
I was sitting in something that approaches that ski jump in Norway. Is it Stavanger, where you and I shared desks many times. The old Camp Nou, which has been razed to the ground, folks, if you don't know, the press tribune was placed right at the top of that 4th ring. And if you've got 4 rings, well done. And I do mean Super Bowl, nothing else. Then you almost had a vertical downward look, an X-ray look on the match action. And like you, I was up there watching the second leg of a really odd Champions League semi-final. Barcelona going for a two-peat, which was to win the Champions League back-to-back, having done so in Rome the previous season. They'd gone to Milan for the first leg, and the volcanic ash meant that they couldn't fly. They travelled by bus. They got beaten 3-1 on a night when the Portuguese refereeing against Mourinho's. What Portuguese? Is Mourinho Portuguese? That escapes me. I can't remember. The Portuguese referee allowed 2 goals, one which was offside and another which stemmed from a foul. But them's your breaks. Tough luck, Barcelona. Them's your breaks. But the breaks kept coming in that the ash had cleared by the time Inter needed to come to Camp Nou. So they flew instead of taking the bus. Although the Barca players had all recommended it. Said the bus is wonderful. A bus over the Alps before a Champions League game. It's the best.
Best 11 hours I've spent.
You just wouldn't, even though the Barca players said, we'll send you usurettes, you can take the National Express when your life's in a mess. They just went, no, we're going to fly. And they did fly. And they flew past Barcelona 1-0, Mota sent off. Very highly defensive performance. He sent off because Busquets conned the referee that night. No question about that whatsoever. And there was a Wile E. Coyote element of Busquets looking up from the turf going, is he red carded yet? I'm fine now. Retards and you offside. And then you know, PK scores late on. A second goal would have put Barcelona through to the final in the Bernabeu. Mourinho's been harping on about how Barcelona are obsessed with getting there, not want to get there, they're obsessed. And he gets under the skin. And the late goal, which is ruled out, which I think was probably not offside, and it would have made it 2-0, and Barcelona would have won, but they don't. And Mourinho dances after the final whistle in his camel coat, which he must have bought in a jumbo sale because he wore it all the time in them days. And he's given it in front of the Barca fans. They turn on the sprinklers. Valdes tries to pull him away, which is bad sportsmanship from Barcelona, no question whatsoever. And Mourinho, it just puts a little dagger into the heart of Pep Guardiola's Barcelona as the manager of Internazionale.
So I was there alongside you that night. We fast forward about a month, and we're back in this time it's the Bernabeu, it's the Champions League final. 2 goals from Milito, and Jose Mourinho is a Champions League winner at the home of Real Madrid, having already agreed that he'll sign for Real Madrid. He'll be their manager for the following season.
Treble winner to succeed Guardiola's treble winner, highly entertaining in that although Inter had a section that worked on transfers above and beyond Mourinho was part of the sanctioning of Zlatan to Barcelona. Yeah. Eto'o to Inter. Baby. And a minor player in all of this is Samuel Eto'o, who no footballer in the history of association football has ever won back-to-back trebles with 2 different clubs. It's just absolutely insane, and people don't talk about it. But he, having been somebody who had damaged Mourinho when Barcelona played Inter in the group stages, when Barcelona played Chelsea, he went straight over there and became a Mourinho soldier, played in any position that Mourinho asked him to, including fullback when they eliminated Chelsea. And, there was a walkover final against... my mind wants to tell me Louis van Gaal's Bayern Munich.
Mm-hmm.
Van Gaal, the guy who'd given Mourinho the chance to stay on instead of a translator as Bobby Robson's assistant at Barcelona. Van Gaal had incorporated Mourinho into the coaching. The famous pictures in that Van Gaal Barcelona era. But who's in the picture, Pete? There's walking arm in arm. Mourinho, Mourinho, Luis Enrique, and Pep Guardiola, all svelte and young and in that Kappa gear and walking kind of like 3 students of football. And yet Mourinho kept slapping Barcelona and Van Gaal in this instance around the face in to go to the Bernabeu, win the Champions League final handsomely. One of the walkover finals. It was only 2-0. There was never any question prior to the match what was going to happen and who was going to win.
And the third relevant date, Graham, the 11th of July, 2010. Where were you?
It's a sensational day. The 10th of July, I got a phone call as we're traveling from a place called Potchefstroom, which is about an hour and a half outside Joburg, going cover Spain, the team that I'm TV producer for. In the World Cup final, we got a phone call from the head of FIFA Films saying, "Oh, you've done very well. You have done very well. Extraordinary. All the things you have brought us." And Pakistani, Pete. Pakistani. You just haven't been in the subcontinent. And now you have to make sure that you're in the dressing room and on the bus with them today. And I'm like, what the fuck are you on about? Yeah. Go and talk your way into the dressing room. And so we did. I took the president of the Spanish Football Federation, Angel Villar, out for a few beers on Saturday lunchtime in our hotel. I use the pronoun advisedly. And started talking to him about the Spain side that he'd been in that beaten Scotland for the first time ever at Hampden in the mid-70s. I named the Scotland team. And yeah, we had a couple of jars, and at the end of it, the president said, "Oh, I have to go and have my lunch now." I said, "Well, listen, President, listen anyway, on the same subject, can I get the dressing room tomorrow afterwards if you win?" And he's like, "Yeah, you can, no problem, mate." And Fernando Hierro was the director of football, disagreed. The president said, "Tell the coach to put it to the players." And there was a captaincy team of about, in those days, it was a big captaincy team. And I think it was about 6 players plus Del Bosque. And they went, "Yeah, why not? We'll let him in." And therefore, my cameraman and I were not only filming on the touchline of the World Cup final, right next to the Spain side of the 2 sort of greenhouse dugouts. And we were then in the dressing room filming with the Spain team, just an extraordinary circumstance. So a unified bunch then of Arbeloa and Alonso and Casillas and Pedrito and Piqué and Puyol and Busquets and Xavi and Iniesta. It was the, how many was it? It was the 10 Musketeers, all for one and one for all at that stage. On the 11th of July, at least, Pete.